What's going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Monday right now. I am going to be talking to you guys about this TikTok strategy. And honestly, it's not a big old strategy. All right. So it's just basically just be going over how I was able to lock in $1,000 deal. Okay. And first off, I know I missed. Did I miss last week? I missed. No, I didn't miss last week. I had actually had somebody I interviewed last week, but then the week before that, I did miss because of my birthday and I got in late. So either way, we here, we back on it. So back on doing this every single Monday night, as much as I can, make sure that I keep up with it. Okay. So with that being stated, we're gonna jump right into it. So for those of you who do not know me and you're watching this for the very first time, my name is Jay. What I do is I own my own media agency. What that consists of is that I am a photographer, a videographer, and a marketing strategist. So, meaning that I actually focus on building my clientele up so that way they can also learn how to monetize their content by using said content and my different types of strategies. All right. So, one of the main ones I'm going to talk to you guys about today is actually a something that came up to my attention. I didn't realize that it was something that I was also doing until it was called to me. All right. So what ended up happening was I ultimately got a booking that came in through my site, and I had no idea. I was like sleep, woke up to a booking, and next thing you know, I have somebody to contact to be able to give them a quote. Okay. Now keep in mind, I be on TikTok, right, and I just be mostly sharing things that I normally do on TikTok, as far as on a daily. So I will probably do my BTSs. If I have something inspirational, I probably will do that. But typically, when it comes to operating any social network, you are wanting to really post as much as you can to finally see what is going to hit with that particular platform so that you can multiply it and ultimately see some results from it. Okay, so for those of you obviously that are watching me here, you know that I'm on Instagram pretty often. So I'm gonna post something and it's gonna be either in my stories or it's gonna be on my page. Okay, so I make sure that I obviously do that. With that being stated, I also make sure that I am posting on TikTok. Now, what I have learned for my brand when it comes to media is how I get more eyes on my work is when I post my BTSs. So the ones that have definitely been taken off have been behind the scenes that I've done at a birthday event. And what I did was how I particularly recorded it. So how I recorded it was, or how I displayed the recording was somebody else filmed me filming the birthday girl. And I used the footage from my camera to show what I caught from my camera once it was edited. So now you're getting this follow through of the BTS of me working while also getting the image of what I captured in my own particular camera. So you're getting that double feel, and you get to see how it looks in that process. So it blew up. You know, in my mind, it blew up. Like it didn't hit like 10 million views, nothing like that, but it blew up enough for me to be very happy with it. Right. So I was like, okay, cool. So I noticed that, then I started doing more like it, and the more I did like those BTSs definitely got more traction when it came to the media page. Okay, and I specify that because each brand that I am a part of, I have to move with it differently to be able to get a particular type of result. Okay, so with that one, when I knew, okay, cool, I can do that. It's gonna work, and I just multiplied. Right. So with that being stated, I multiplied a few other posts in that same way, and the same way those posts got hits, just the same. So what I've noticed, especially if you're in the media field like I am, if you're a photographer, a videographer, some of the things that's going to ultimately work for you is being able to show that process, right? At least what's been working for me, right? It's showing that process, the behind the scenes footage, as well as the results. They want to see, and particularly I do too when I look at other photographers' pages or a post that is in my feed, is the process of how they're doing it and then the results of what they get once they post it, right? Once they have edited, did everything they need to do to it to make it look as satisfying for them and unsatisfying enough to be posted on a platform, right? So because of that, they can go ahead and obviously share it. And I'm usually drawn into it that way. Like if I really, really like it, I'll probably follow you. If I really, really like it, I also will like it and also comment on the post letting you know that I really love what you did. Okay. So continuing that same method when it came to my TikTok page and ended up getting a request for an event. Okay. Um, and I'm trying to give you guys basically the gist of what goes on a day to day for me and my business. All right. And because I have it written down here, so I'm trying not to stay off track, but I'm gonna give you guys the rundown and I'm gonna break it down. Okay. So ultimately, woke up, realized this was in my inbox because I already have my booking form already prepped, taken care of. The next day, I contacted the person. I said, hey, because they said their best way of contacting them was through text. Texted them letting them know I got their form, and I want to move forward with seeing what they would want. But I'm also letting them know a quote based off of their needs, right? Because they filled out the form already. So then we do that. Then we get into the conversation about them accepting the quote. Then they, of course, they consult whoever they need to consult. They get back. They said they want to move forward. Ultimately, it was a whole $1,000 event situation that needed to take place. And of course, I'm already in that mind frame. Like, if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. All right. Because at the end of the day, I've understood that I am money. I've understood that I ensure that I have the mentality and the capability to always bring money to me one way or another. So whether it's one client or five clients, I'm gonna make it happen, right? So I wasn't necessarily worried, but I was like, if it happens, that's really really cool. So um, to let the time do what it needed to do. I'm focusing on other things, right? I'm moving on. So next thing you know, I'll get the call back. Yep, we want to go ahead, and they went ahead and locked it in. Okay, so that was exciting for me because again, I didn't expect it to take place from TikTok because I'm just posting on TikTok, but then I'm noticing I am getting some inquiries from random people in my inbox asking me how can they book, what can they do to get to meet with me, to work with me, and these types of things. And I'm just like, okay, so something's happening, all right? So I want to show you and break down with you on how I had built my system so that way, all I really had to do was respond to this lady's message after making a variety of BTS videos on TikTok. Like, it wasn't no elaborate ass process. It wasn't something that was so tricky and complicated. It was a system that I put in place that anybody can really do, and it's mostly because of the experience and the knowledge that I've gained by doing other things in my past businesses. So the first thing that I did was obviously posting the content, right? This is why I tell you guys all the time. Post your content, especially depending on what it is that you're wanting to do. If you are looking to get more clients, if you are looking to grow some followers, if you are looking to just have more awareness or just have more people sign up for your email list, your best bet to get more visibility is to post content. It doesn't have to be funny content. It doesn't have to be the best content. It just has to be something of you that you are doing. And as long as you do that, people are gonna see it. If you post it enough, and then once you start posting enough of just regular ass content, then you can go into looking into doing the trendy audios. Then you can go into looking into doing some trendy topics, right? That relate to what it is that your business or brand is a part of. Then from there, you'll start reaching out to getting the right people to reach out to you. Rather, you will start getting the right people to reach out to you. Okay, so now I already have the content, but not only do I have my content, I also have my booking system in place. So for me, I'm pretty simple. Like, I really don't like to complicate things, even though in the past I normally would. But now I'm just like, it's easier for me to just have my booking form already prepared. So I have my job form set up, right? Some people use Google Forms, some people use other things, but ultimately I have my job form already set up, and it basically just has the most basic information. What is your name? What's the date that you want your event to take place? What do you want? Pictures and videos, or both? How did you find me? How was the best way to text to contact you? Do you want me to call you? You want me to hit you over the DMs? You want me to send you a text message? And then from there, I always include in my terms and conditions within that same booking form. So that way, there is no conversation that needs to be had about it necessarily. There is no breakdown I need to really give you. It's right then and there. And once you sign that, and you approve of what the terms and conditions are, you already know what's going on. And there is no way you can say, oh, I didn't know, right? And keep in mind, I'm not going to let you just leave and not touch on the terms and conditions. I will confirm. I will say, well, this is what you're going to get with what you're paying for. And if you agree and you want to move forward, please type forward, type proceed, like message me yes. Like, I want to make sure I'm getting confirmation from you, so that way I'm not assuming that everything is all good when there are some things you don't have necessarily clarified just yet. Okay, that's how I run my business. That's just how I do it. And that over the last several years, is this is the best that's worked for me as of right now, right? I may change it in the future, who knows? So that's one thing that I make sure I have in place is my booking form. Now, once I have my booking form, I already know I'm gonna contact you. Either you're gonna let me know, say, hey, I reached out to you about this said thing. If I don't get to you first, and if you do, and if you or me get to one or the other before the other does, then we can have that conversation. I'm breaking down for you what is included in your package. Then, of course, you decide if you want to roll with it or not. Again, that conversation it never lasts more than 30 minutes, to be honest with you. So I'm really never on the phone with a client for more than 30 minutes. Sometimes maybe an hour if I'm doing like a design. Like if I'm doing a graphic design or a website, those might take longer than 30 minutes. Before like an event or a booking situation, it's usually pretty simple. I already know where you want me to go. I already know what you want me to do. We talk about the theme. We talk about what concepts you have going on. And from there, we can continue talking via text messages because I will send you links or you will send me a link to look at or I will ask you to send me a link so that way I can be prepared for what is to come before the day of the event, right? So that's again part of my process, part of my system. The next step from there is once everything is okayed, then I say, okay, cool, I'm gonna send you an invoice, right? Because I'm not gonna automatically just have a link that just says, hey, just hit this button right here because everybody's pricing is gonna be different. So I want to make sure that I have something in place that you can you can pay on your own, if that makes sense. Like it's your individual thing, right? So that again, it's not any confusion, right? So and again, we've also had that conversation prior. So now I can say, okay, cool. This is what it's gonna be. This is what your deposit's gonna be. Then I send you the invoice through Square. Square right now has been the company that I've been using for it. I'm not in any way or form, not in any way, shape, or form partnered with them, but I do appreciate doing business with them. Okay, so meaning that I actually utilize them and they're the best for me because I used to use PayPal heavy, then I started using Cash App heavy, and then I was like, you know what, I need something that's way more professional for what I'm doing. Got into Square. So if you're looking for like a really professional type of look and you want something that's going to accept all payment methods and also offer an option to pay via Afterpay. Now, it doesn't work for services, but they do work for products. So if you have a product or a workshop or an event or something to that extent, and you want people the option to be able to purchase that said thing with their Afterpay account, then you can use Square. But for services, it does not allow it as of right now. Okay. But then again, I go ahead and send that off. Then of course, when she pays, I confirm I received the payment. Then I get prepared for the event, right? And it's really that simple. Like that's my whole system. Then of course, is the second part to that is when I get to the event and then setting up, and then of course, by this time I already know if they allow me to record any BTSs of me and my assistant working that a specific event. If they say no, I respect their wishes. I don't even worry about it because at the end of the day, I got content for days. But I always make sure I ask that ahead of time. So just so that way, in case they say yes, I have more content that I can record for that particular event, right? So now, from that point, I always want to make sure the next thing that I always want to do, because I did kind of break down at the beginning what steps that were taken on how this whole thing took place, right? So ultimately, hey Leslie baby, thank you so much for joining. Girl, I ain't doing a whole lot tonight, but just talking about a TikTok strategy that got me $1,000 deal. So I say not a whole lot, but either way, that's pretty much I'm just going down that strategy right now. All right. So basically, just went over a few steps. I don't know if you're on TikTok. I don't know if you utilize TikTok. I don't know if you think TikTok is a good asset to that extent, but I had just found out that it's really good when I post some of my behind the scenes content, and people really do take heed to it. So I would advise anybody to get on TikTok. Definitely something I've advised some of my clients, like specifically Jada, to get on TikTok a while ago, and she blew up from there. And just making sure that now is being consistent and even also being prepared when it comes to the changes. But that's a whole different type of video. But ultimately, with this one, I broke down the steps on what I did to lock in this client, which didn't require a whole lot because I had set up a system already, which is basically creating the content, having a booking form already prepared on my link tree and on my website. They go to either one of those links, fill out the form. I get it in my email. Then I reach out to the said person. We agree on the said price, and then from there, I give them an invoice through Square, and I lock it in, right? And then we just go from there. And now I talk about what are some things you can do to make sure that you can always be able to repeat the same process, right? So one of the things I definitely value myself on is when I am getting a new client, when I get somebody that's hitting me up about any type of service, I always want to make sure I can respond to them as quickly as I can. If it's after hours, anything after midnight, I'm not responding to just because at that point it's late as hell, and I like to get my sleep because it might be a situation where I get to deep conversation. So I like to just wait until the next day. I'm up, I'm fresh, right? So then from that point, I'll let you know I did receive what you had sent me, and we can get into a conversation from there. So replying quickly with a quote, then waiting, of course, to move forward from there, because you never want to rush the people. You never want to be so impatient that you're not letting them take the time to absorb what just happened. You're letting them get the time to be comfortable with you. Who knows? They may go back and look at your page and see what other things you have to offer, or see if they can feel you through your content, so that they can build that trust, right? Because at the end of the day, they want to feel as if whatever they're requesting of you, especially if they're putting money into you, that they are going to feel as if this is going to be beneficial for them. This is also going to be a win-win for them, right? So I always make sure that I allow myself to have a genuine conversation with whoever the person is, just so that way they know what is going on, right? Then, of course, once I give them the reply, I wait on that. And depending on if it's been a couple days, I haven't heard nothing, or they tell me that they're going to get back to me, I let that time be had, right? Then the only time I actually go back and I reach back out to them is maybe a couple of days, max 3 days have gone by. Then I'll reach out and be like, hey, are you still interested? That's pretty much it. If you don't hit me back after that question, I don't bother you no more, right? So, but for this person specifically, after the few days, she said she was gonna hit me up, and I waited. I didn't push. I didn't even ask. Once the day came by, I let it be. And then next thing I get a message saying, I actually got a call. To be honest, I got a phone call and was like, "Hey, do you remember me sending this? And I want to go ahead and have a further conversation with you and see about locking this thing in, right?" So from there, I was like, "All right, cool. I'm glad I picked up my phone, right?" Because there's been times in the past where the time might not be right? So you're trying to probably handle something, and then you have to kind of decline the phone call, and it's a business call. And with this time, I was actually prepared and open to actually receive it. So I was happy about that. So ultimately, I feel like when things like that happen for me, that is alignment. That means that I am in a place where I can receive what God is giving me. And keep in mind, at the beginning of the day, I was already like in a really, really great place anyway. Like I just finished my walk. I had just wrote in my journal. Like I'm meditating and stuff, and I'm in a really great place. So I just feel like it only made sense, and things were only flowing from that point. Okay, so then, of course, answered all the questions that was had. Then I also making sure that I am asking questions that is necessary as well, because I never want people to feel as if I just know everything that's going to take place. I'm going to assume everything. Like I really want to be able to ensure that I am also prepared, because if I'm going to make sure that I'm giving you the best event coverage possible, I need to know what I'm working with. I need to know what I need to bring with me, right? And sometimes, usually all the time, I'm going to probably bring a little more than I need to, just so that way I don't have any situation where I'm without, right? And this concept can go with anything, really. If you're in a place of getting bookings, and I know a lot of people, especially nowadays in this world, a lot of people are into femdom, right? So meaning that they really want to demand to be able to just say, hey, you need to give me this money. And I understand that. Keep in mind, I'm not a femdom, right? So I can't necessarily speak for that, but I do understand how it is to, in a sense, sell yourself, right? In a sense, to be able to make somebody want to give you money by being so confident in what you do that they do not hesitate to say, here's my check, right? So Lushi is asking, what is your opinion on being a seller in TikTok? Oh, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Like, if you have a product, whatever that may be, and this is obviously not my product, I'm just thirsty. If you have a product, I would advise, like, selling those things on TikTok. A number of ways that I've seen people have also done it is If you go live, like I'm going live right now on Instagram, you can go live on TikTok and also sell your products. You can talk to people that come on live. You can have the product right in your face. It could just be like not so much where it's in your hand and you're like buy this, pointing at it, but it can be just right there in the middle of the screen, and people can be like, well, what is that? And they're looking, trying to figure out what is going on, and that gives you an opportunity to explain what it is that is in front of you, right? And then, of course, going over with the benefits of it, right? And giving an honest review, like be truly fucking honest. Like, don't get to the point where you're just so salesy that it comes off corny, right? But I'm all for it. Like, definitely be a seller on TikTok. I personally need to take it and start doing that myself. So, so that would definitely, let me answer your question. She's been looking into it for the skincare. So this is what I would say. So when those moments where you're possibly thinking about it, just do it. And the reason why I say that is because there's been moments where I definitely have thought about doing something and I should have just did it just to see what it was gonna do and how it was gonna really reflect. Cause you never know. So I feel like, especially if you get a lot of compliments on the skincare, right, and you got a lot of people that have your products, I feel like you should definitely have them also like either take pictures or do reviews for that same product and send them to you, or they can post it and tag you in it so that way you can have that piece of content to reshare and repost. Um, but as long as you have people in place to help you with those reviews, that should help a lot. And that can also allow you to sell it directly on TikTok, right? And then also having a store outside of TikTok, just so that way you're not relying obviously on this one platform. Like she says, but I'm busy being my brand, and do I really want to bring in something else? This is where I feel like the overthinking takes place. And the reason why I say that is, again, it goes back to you never know until you try. Because it may be a situation where down the line, and I know I've done this, down the line you might say, you know what, I want to try this, I want to try that, I want to try this, I want to try that, right? And you got like 10 different things you're trying, and you're seeing what works. Now, after a month goes by, maybe 60 days have gone by, now you realize, okay, I need to get rid of this. This is not doing anything. Let me get rid of this. It's not doing anything. So you start to kind of do a process of elimination and start keeping the things that are the most beneficial for you. So if you've already done the skincare promotion on TikTok and you're like, it's not working, then it's okay to go ahead and not try to do something else. But if you've never tried it, you won't know, all right? Because it's one of those things that I can't say for sure if it's going to blow up or not. Only you trying it out and actually testing it out on the platform is going to let you know if it's a success or not in the platform. That doesn't mean it's not a success anywhere else. That doesn't mean that maybe it might not be receivable enough in the platform. Now, if you're like, fuck it, I want it to work on TikTok, I'm going to make it work one way or another, then you're going to figure it out. You're going to do whatever needs to be done to make sure that it's going to be seen, it's going to be picked up by certain people. That's going to require you to make a lot of content for it, though, like for damn sure, but just because of how it goes when it comes to TikTok. Like TikTok thrives on content. So if you're making like 3 or 4 videos per day on it, and even if it's like, oh my god, it could be the simplest shit too. Like you could really just have a picture or a video of your skincare product and just have like maybe just turning around or in some type of a 180 field, a 360 field, and it could be for each one, or you could have like multiple videos of the same thing and maybe have a different type of quote on above it that could say something as simple as this helped my skin glow, or this is black owned, or this is great for the disability community. Like it could be a lot of different avenues you could really take with that. So it's not limiting you, and it's not also not making you feel like you have to put your face in the camera. It could, because you're selling a product, so you could really just be like, hey, this is what I have, this is what it does, and try it out, right? Like she says, yes, I put a little bit promo, so we will see. Okay, good. I actually am happy to hear that. So that means that you're definitely trying it out and see. So you're doing a lot more than you think. I say that. So just give it a chance and see what happens. But definitely keep pushing it. Keep pushing it. Don't just go off of this one product or just one post. Go ahead and keep putting it in rotation and then see how that goes. And then of course, again, in my opinion, try it on multiple platforms. If you can put it on YouTube, do that too. You know, put it on Facebook, do that too. Right? Even on, you got Threads, Twitter, like You can repost the same thing on all those platforms, but do one at a time and then see how it goes for you. All right. So now the last step, which is basically me sending the invoice to lock in my client. Right. Um, this part, I feel like it goes deeper than just sending an invoice. It goes deeper than just saying, okay, this is how much I charge. This is why. Right? Or not saying why. Some people just don't explain. I like to break down my prices. I like to let my clients know what they're paying for. So most of the time, actually all the time, right now, you are going to pay a deposit that just gets me through the door. Like just gets my attention at this point because I've gotten to a place where I can't just have my deposit really included with my full amounts because it's gonna eat me up. It's gonna basically be like I'm at zero, right? So it has to make sense at the end of the day for me. So I think about all of that. So I have that included, and I add, of course, the deposit. Then, of course, what I'm working for the time, the amount of time, what I'm doing in that amount of time can also determine how much it is per hour, and then, of course, what all that entails from that point. But even in that particular invoice, I always ensure that I am including the contract that they just signed when it comes to the booking form. I download that from drop form, put that in my invoice. That way it's attached. That way they know what's going on. Then I also repeat the same breakdown that I gave them. That also includes what is included with that service, and I put that into their notes in the invoice so that everything is there at one time. And that's important to me. Everything is there at one time. Then of course I allow them to do a partial payment because it's going to require a deposit at first, and then of course having that however many months or however many weeks up until the final payment is to be made, and that is ultimately the day of the event. Like I don't do payments after the fact. Like before I even really start recording that day, everything's paid in full, so that way we can go ahead and get going, right? And that's pretty much it. Now, the part that I am definitely gonna get into, and I'm pretty sure Lushy can also attest to this. She says, "I'm slow grinding. There is no such thing. I feel like you are grinding the perfect amount of time for you right now. Like you do not need to rush it. It goes back to unless you have like 30 people on your team, and even 5 people on your team that's helping you do what you're doing right now, and I can understand if you say you're slow grinding. But if it's just you and maybe one other person, because I don't know how many people is part of the team, I feel like it's just you. But you're doing right. You're doing the right amount that you need to do right now, and then ultimately you'll be able to have more people added on. Because believe me, I just had my assistant added on this year. I tested out a little bit last year, and this year we actually been doing way more work together. So on top of that, because I have this assistant, I also am thinking differently about how I promote. So now it's not just me making sure that I'm promoting for my business and getting bookings for my business. I'm thinking about my assistant too. I want to make sure that she has a purpose to even continue working with me. Like if I say you're my assistant and we only do 1 gig a year, you're not gonna want to really come fuck with me. You're gonna be like, yeah, she's not doing shit. So I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna bring work to you, not only to me but to you. Okay, and if there's work that you can't do in that moment, that's okay. Just know that I'm bringing it to you. Okay. Lushy says I have jokes, but I'm Team Lushy if you don't count my beauty team. Cool. All right, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. It starts off with one. All right, and then you grow from there. So don't even trip. Just keep doing what you're doing. It's gonna get bigger. And then from that point, you gonna having to try to keep up with the supply or excuse me the demand by providing the supplies. But even then, I think you'll figure it out. It sounds like you're really, from what I've known and seen how you move, like you really know what you're doing. So it's just a matter of time. So, um, the part that I feel like is deeper than just finding a client, getting the locked in of the $1,000 deals and gigs and all these other things. Because there was a point where I did do, like one of my first gigs was $1,000, right? And again, I'm being very transparent. Like I'm never gonna act like I'm out here just doing buku's amount of money on what I do. Keep in mind, I have more than one business, so this is not the only business that I do. Some business I can't talk about on here. Other businesses, you guys already know of. I dance, right? So, and I ensure that every single one of them has something that has taken place with it, right? So that way I am actually making it a business. So with that being stated, there's a mindset you have to have. So when I first started doing the media agency and I had my first $1,000 gig, it was to do a BTS filming for this pole company at the time. And they had a lot of big names in their company, right? It had Anakia at one point, which I was absolutely in love with. First of all, I still love her to this day. I've met her several times, so that was pretty awesome. And then being able to work with a lot of other big name people that are in the pole community because of that particular pole company. And basically was like, hey, we want you to come out and record some BTSs for us. Like, let's follow us throughout the day, and it's gonna be $1,000 cash app, like straight up. Like it wasn't no deposit, none of that. They was like, this is how much it's gonna be. Keep in mind, I didn't give the price quote. Like they just said this is how much they're gonna be willing to pay. So I took it, and especially being at the time, I think I was like a year in of me doing the media agency as far as photography and videography. So I was like, shit, let's do it. Like I had another assistant at the time. We no longer work together anymore, and that's okay. So I had to learn how to build up my team. But nonetheless, I was happy with that, right? So fast forward to something like this. Now it's not almost 24-hour a day, right? Like it's literally, who, like a handful of hours for that amount. You know what I mean? So it's like it's like I am ultimately now in a place where at first I used to hesitate on giving my price quote. I used to be like, are they gonna take it? Is this too much? Are they gonna want to go to somebody else? And I used to do that to the point where I'm taking lowball fucking offers. And then I'm wondering why I'm pissed off at the end of the shoot. Like, this don't make any sense. Right? So Lushy says, you dance. Now, I don't know if she's being for real or if she's playing. Now, before I ask that question, I'm gonna ask you if you're being for real, and then I'll answer. Okay? And then I'll answer. So it was that point, it was that type of mindset that I have. So before I finish this, because this is a motivational topic, so let me go ahead and record it, and then I am also going to go through and stop it afterwards. So give me 1 second. Okay, cool. All right, so now when it comes to being able to really understand and have the mindset that you are worth what you're asking for when it comes to business, is for one, for me, it had a lot to do with my confidence. So even though I was already giving out great content, great product, and great results, I still was comparing myself. Like for me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other people get to that place where what is really destroying them is that they doubt themselves. They doubt themselves, that they compare themselves to somebody else. That they look at other people's journeys and they feel as if they're supposed to have the same thing. I was definitely huge on that shit. And it messed with me. It messed with me so much that it limited me from understanding what I was able to really do. So if I can even be further honest, I will say within the past year, like really all of this year, I put my head down and really ignored everybody else around me. All I did was gave props where it was necessary, and I just kept doing my own thing. I focused on what I needed to do. Actually, started doing that last year. Actually, started doing some of that last year, but I really doubled down on it this year. Right, and I made sure that because of that being taking place, I am also making sure that I'm instilling more confidence in me. So I am growing my own self-esteem in my business, so that way when anybody comes to me about something, I'm like, oh yeah, hell yeah, I do that. Like, that's me. You know what I'm saying? Blushing is right. Comparison is the thief of joy. Like, that's exactly what it is. So when I really started to understand that and started focusing on just me, focusing on what made me happy, focusing on what I wanted to do more in my own business, it started creating those opportunities for me. Like, it's just not no coming out of the air and just random ass shit. Like, these are things that because of what you do and how you portray yourself and how you see yourself, ultimately opportunities and engagement of things are going to take place for you that are going to be a benefit for you because you have put yourself in that place so that way you can ultimately receive it. Like, can't you can't receive a gift if your hands are closed, right? You have to be prepared to accept, right? And there was a lot of times where I was like, as soon as I'm getting a compliment or something, like, nah, I don't think so. Like, I was already tearing myself down before I could even accept the compliment. So I had to get out of that. I had to change that shit, and I had to really realize that I am literally the master of what it is that I am putting together right now, right here, right? And because of that, I changed up my mindset. I changed up what I know of me, and because I was setting up things in place for myself, by the way, I was able to really create different types of events without me having to wait to for maybe my following numbers to get to a certain level. I was able to still push through certain events without having 100 people show up at the event. Like I was making sure that I was still showing up for me, having these lives on a weekly basis, and make sure I'm having conversations with whoever shows up on here. Like all of those little things started piling up, creating a compound effect to where now because I'm doing these things, I'm also posting content. While I'm posting content, other people are seeing that shit. That's why I say you never know who's watching. You never know who's watching. So when you start doing these little bitty things and they are ultimately creating building blocks to create something major and bigger than yourself, that's when things are really start to pay off. You're more confident. You can ask for what the hell you deserve to ask for. And whoever is not with it, they aren't with it. And those who say, you know what, I see what you've been doing and I want to go ahead and move forward with it without second guessing, without trying to negotiate, that's when you know you've made it in that part of that level of your life, right? And then, of course, let that do what it needs to do and then move on to the next level. So that, for me, was everything. Hence why I can able to be able to now have these conversations where I'm not questioning. If I send it out, you take it, cool. If you don't, that's perfectly okay. But guess what? I'm going to keep working. I don't need to have 1,000 clients for me to have work. I'm going to make work. I'm going to create something that other people are going to want to see, and ultimately it's going to make them want to work with me. Okay, so Lushy says, can't nobody do or be you, boo boo. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. That's why now when I hear a lot of people talking about how they wish they could do this, they wish they could do that, and I inspired, I'm like, bro, I am literally in the living room of my apartment, and I have my corner right here with my office, and all I gotta do is set up a few lights. Literally, I have 3 different lights here, all right, just so I can talk to you guys about what it is that I do, and I'm not in my mind doing a whole lot of things very that's so crazy special, but because I do show up and have conversations and I'm sharing knowledge, also while studying, by the way, like I'm not just trying to come out here and just give you guys a bunch of hoopla. I'm ensuring that I am providing value and it makes people want to keep coming back, whether they watch me while I'm live or watch me at a later time, right? So that was the biggest thing for me. And I feel like when you get rid of that self-doubt and you start building on yourself and you start being consistent, like the world is your oyster, bro. Like you can do whatever you want at that point. Ask for whatever you want because there are people out there who are more than willing to pay for it. All right, that's how I feel. So, um, so any questions for me, Lushy? Did you have anything else that you wanted to ask before I close out? But yeah, this is my paper. This is my breakdown. All right, trying to make sure I have these lined up for me. But ultimately, the TikTok strategy, bro, it's not difficult. It's pretty similar to Instagram, but there are many things you can do on TikTok. You can sell on Instagram as well, but I think because of the fact that TikTok is like the more fluffier, colorful version of Instagram, in my opinion, right? It's a lot more fun. And with course, there's certain limitations, of course, but at the end of the day, when it comes to understanding how to just post a variety of different things on TikTok, then whatever you start to see really start taking fold or taking a hold and growing, that's where you need to double down on that, right? Lushy Lushy says this current Jay has grown so much from you from 3 years ago. Damn, what was I like 3 years ago? Dang, we have known each other a minute now. Fuck. Um, so to answer your previous question, yes, I dance. I don't know if you, again, still wasn't sure if you were just asking because you weren't sure, if you were just asking just because you were sure you just wanted me to answer it. But nonetheless, yes, I do. I love pole dance. Floor is my shit. Hip hop is definitely my first love. But at the end of the day, what I absolutely love when it comes to dance is that it's just for me. Like I'm really not trying to grow into no business. That is just the personal brand. It's just something that I just do for fun. So, but I will say this: because I love to dance and because I work with other dancers, it allows me to understand how to work with other dancers, right? So when I do photo shoots, video shoots, I already know what to expect. When I do events that have pole showcases, I already know what to look for when it comes to capturing in certain angles. Even when it comes to me creating my own videos, to that extent, I already know I practice with the editing on myself first, and then I also translate that into my media business. So it's like everything that I do kind of has one hand into another, because they all help each other, right? So Lushy says you've grown into your confidence, number one. Okay, what else? So yes, and I can agree with that too because I feel it. That's why I say, bro, like show up, show up. Because if I can, and I probably won't be able to do it right now because my phone is also like, I think it was at 20% when I seen it last. But not even just now, but I have to make a separate video, and I'm gonna go through and show what I looked like before, like back when I was with MLMs, right? And then now what I'm doing right now. Just the difference between the two, because yeesh, like it wasn't bad, but you could tell the baby was just starting out, right? So, but I give myself grace. I give myself grace because I know where I was at. So, Lunchy says you've always had a really resilient spirit, but I'll see you're really on your grind now. Oh, baby, now better more than ever, more than ever. Like yes, yeah, and that's for a lot of reasons. That's for a lot of reasons, like um, not being working at your job since January, and just trying to go back to school for IT, and now this is all you do. That's gonna change your aspects for the long run. Like you're gonna move differently. You're gonna make some shit happen. Okay, so that for damn sure. Because once I've been here before, in a sense, like some years ago, and was unemployed for like 2 years, but I knew shit with it. I was depressed most of the time. So now I'm in a much better place. I am more alive. I stopped doing my extracurriculars, and that's just for me. It just doesn't help me be productive. Um, and definitely therapy, baby. Therapy has helped me a lot. Okay, so it helps me with the focus. And of course, I got somebody that's with me that understands me and understands the grind and understands what it's like to not have to depend on a 9 to 5 too. So that helps a lot, bro. It's like that helps. So and also having that community of sorts. But I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I appreciate you seeing me because don't always be surprised when people tell me about me because I'm just like, you see me, you paying attention to me like that. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But I'm that resilience spirit ain't going nowhere. I ain't going nowhere. Like my parents came from Haiti, straight from Haiti, straight off, not necessarily off the boat. They flew in here, but straight from Haiti, and now where they at, all they know. So I'm trying to do better and trying to do more, and I want to ensure that even my kids know that shit. Like there's so much more out there, and you do not have to cap yourself at all, bro. Like go for it. Do what the fuck makes you happy, and make money on that shit. So that's my vibe when it comes to that. She said, "I see you, boo. Thank you, thank you." So that's pretty much all I got for y'all tonight. Okay. Back on my lives for YouTube this Thursday, but I'm doing it a little different. So at first I was doing straight up photography. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do like a 4 week series every month. If there's like 5 weeks or 5 Thursdays in a month, one Thursday out of that month, I'm not doing shit, right? Just so that way I can make sure I keep it full. And the reason why is because I've been getting some people asking me about videography. So people are asking me to break down how I do my videos, how I edit, and a variety of things. So now I'm just like, because I want to keep talking about marketing, I want y'all to know that I do this. So that's why I'm gonna include that in there. So it's gonna start off photography for one Thursday. Then the second Thursday is gonna be videography. The third Thursday is gonna be marketing. Wait, the third Thursday is gonna be editing, and then the fourth Thursday is gonna be marketing. Reason why is that for that whole entire month, you can look at it as a content research month, right? So the first one is how to take pictures, right? Whether it's of yourself or others, taking pictures, right? Second Thursday is gonna be you basically doing videos, understanding how to take for certain videos, understand certain lighting, certain effects, how to get certain feelings, angles. Third Thursday is gonna be where we're gonna edit all that shit. Like we're gonna edit some pictures, we're gonna edit some videos. I'm gonna be sitting just like this on my computer. I'm gonna edit some shit, and on my phone, I'm gonna send it to my laptop, and you guys are gonna see that screen of what my phone looks like while I'm editing, right? And then on the fourth Thursday, I'm gonna show you guys how I promote all of that. Like it never just stays on my devices. I literally break them up and I post and I share and I talk about it and I spread them out. Like it's a variety of things that I do. So I'm gonna show you guys all of those steps every single month, right? And we're gonna start this month. Start this Thursday because this Thursday is gonna be the 2nd, October 2nd. And then of course I got my event. I gotta go to South Carolina this Saturday for another event. There's a content creation that they got at Studio Ho that is run by Susan. So definitely make sure you check that out as well. And then The weekend after that, I got a workshop that I'm filming for Concrete Road Seduction. That's a floor workshop that's gonna be here in Atlanta. And then weekend after that, I'm gonna be in Columbus. I guess I am busy, Lushy. I guess I am. So I'm gonna be in Columbus, Georgia, filming a post show, and then nothing for Halloween. But November 1st, I got another event that I'm filming a post show then as well. So yeah, I'm gonna be busy. But I thank God, bro. I'm very grateful, very grateful. So, so when you say Lushy, I'm resilient and I'm on the grind. This is why. This is why. I'll tell her you said hey. I actually will tell her you said hey. So, um, and then hopefully we can you can see her again as well soon. I don't know when it's gonna be, but hopefully it can be sometime soon. But I'm definitely looking forward to seeing her, and I'm trying to see her create some content with it too while I'm up there. So we're gonna make the best out of that time. But that's all I got for y'all. I'm out here. It's gonna be some shit, and we're gonna be working, and y'all know y'all gonna see me, and we're gonna make some shit happen. All right. I love y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching me and listening to everything that I have to say. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.